plant included. So the Implica officinalis are the synonym is Philanthus Implica. Earlier it was called Philanthus. So this is one thing you can distinguish. In the beginning I told for the medicinal plants we always need to read the vernacular names. Sometimes the vernacular names are also referred as synonyms, but technically synonyms are the other botanical names which are used because of the ICBN rules or the characters identified later. Some of the genera and the species names are going to change, right? So the plant just now we have finished in the first session, that is Acacia angustifolia, recently named as Senna angustifolia. Only few species which were there in Acacia earlier, they are retained, but many of them are shifted to the genera Senna. Senna was the earlier a common name, but now it became the generic name Senna, and Acacia angustifolia, now it is called Senna angustifolia. So that is a synonym. Similarly here, earlier name of Amla is Philanthus Implica, but now it is changed to Implica officinalis. Okay, this is a synonym. But when the botanical names are being changed, the older names, synonyms in English language also పర్యాయ పదాలు అంటారు కదా వేరే పేర్లు అని ఇక్కడ, బట్ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ synonyms are technical scientific words, scientific names, whereas vernacular names are local names. Okay, so here this is the plant is in the vernacular names we have a good number, right? It is called Amla or Usiriki or Amlaki, Usiri or Amlaki. Indian gooseberry is English name. Or Implica myrobalan is also, this is also in English name only, but Usiri wise also it is called Racha Usiri, Pedda Usiri is also differently named in Telugu, because there is another Usiri that is Philanthus acidus, trilobed one. It is plenty of the fruits are developed, and they are not that big also like Amla. They are very small, and even they are not that sour. Okay, that is called Philanthus acidus. And this one is Philanthus Implica or Implica officinalis. Fruits are much bigger, round in shape, with a distinct lines, 5 lines on the surface of the fruit. Okay, so these are being it's a bigger in size, it is called Racha Usiri or Pedda Usiri in Telugu. And Indian gooseberry also the English name, and Implica myrobalan, it's also because of the sour taste it is also called as Implica myrobalan. Okay, so this plant belongs to the family Euphorbiaceae, one of the most economically important family of the Angiosperms, and also it is one of the largest and widely distributed family in India as well. Euphorbiaceae I am talking about. Okay, so the morphology of the plant here, the useful part, before going to the morphology, useful part of the plant is the unripened fruit. Overripened fruit turns to light brown or orangish color, which is not actually having the medicinal value and also not taste good. So it is moderately just ripened, not completely unripened as well. So just ripened fruits are used fresh and also dried, and even seeds. In fact, Amla seeds are also used medicinally. Bark and leaves are also used medicinally in traditional systems of medicine. But the main source is fresh or dried fruit. Okay, next followed by you can add all the other because bark is also used, leaves are used, and seeds are also having medicinal properties. Okay, so coming to the morphology, as this is a small medium sized tree, deciduous tree of course, and it can grow up to 18 feet tall or even more than that also. So the interesting point of the plant is here, more often we observe the branches are drooping, not erectly or horizontally growing branches. Always the branches are hanging, right? So that is called drooping branches. That is very characteristic. And another thing is the surface of the stem is also having knots like structures. It's not smooth. Some knots like structures are seen on the stem, so it is called a rugged surface. Rugged surface of the stem is very characteristic to the Implica plant. Then coming to the leaves are concerned, this is one point you always need to remember. Here the leaves appear like pinnately compound leaves. So most of you must be seen this plant. It's a very commonly cultivated plant in most of the households or even plantation wise as well, and it is considered to be an auspicious plant and also divine plant, particularly in the Kartika Masam, in the month of November. The people worship this plant, and the people will have the food under this tree, considered to be auspicious and also healthy. So that's why most of you can recognize this plant. I feel the leaves appear to be, I'm repeating this word, the leaves appear to be peripinnate compound leaves like, and even it is written like that only, it is peripinnate compound leaves, but the leaf like structures are actually condensed branches. The leaves are simple alternate leaves only, but as the branches are so condensed, it appear like a leaf. Okay, so remember that it here in Amla, the leaves are simple leaves, alternate simple leaves they are, but the branches are so condensed and they appear like small leaves, peripinnate leaves. Okay, so the as the plant belongs to the Efferbiaceae, one of the two important characters of the Efferbiaceae you can remember at any point of study, either it is about a particular plant like Amla belongs to the family Efferbiaceae, or in general also, you need to remember the Efferbiaceae family is known for having two important characteristic features. One is the flowers are unisexual, whatever the kind of plants they are. In Euphorbiaceae, we find lot of diversity in the plants. Some might be looking like a cacti, or some will be like a normal plants, and some will be having some special features and special inflorescence also. Whatever the differences they exhibit, there are two common things among the members included in the family Euphorbiaceae. One is the flowers are unisexual, male and female flowers are different. So the male and female flowers are placed at the different places, like in the case of ricinus, castor, female flowers will be on the top and male flowers on the at the below or at the basal part of the inflorescence axis. So similarly in Amla also, the female flowers are produced at the base of the branches and male flowers are produced at the end of the branches. So that's why often we observe fruits at the base of the branches, not at the ends of the branches, right? So the female flowers are placed at the base and male flowers on the top, being they are unisexual flowers. And another feature is the flowers are trimerous in Amla. In the other cases, we are not mentioned so detailed aspect of the flowers. Generally, we told what type of inflorescence they has and what is the color of the flowers. Because here, our intention of morphology study is just to identify the plant. Okay, so here the flowers are trimerous and they are very small greenish color, insignificant flowers they are. Okay, so at least remember they are trimerous. Only three perianthropes are seen. 3 plus 3. Even though it is a monoclinidae member for BSc, there is a three perianthropes are seen. Okay, so being the flower is trimerous, and the male flowers will be having only three stamens where the filaments are fused. Okay, monodelphous Three stamens in monodiapause condition is another important character of the amla with regard to the male flowers are concerned. Okay, so the female flowers wise, as I told you, unisexual flowers is one common character among all the members of Fabaceae, and the second important character is the gynoecium. Gynoecium is tricarpillary syncarpous, trilocular superior ovary. So this character is uniform to all the members of Fabaceae without any exception. Okay, remember this point. So the same thing applies to amla as well. Amla also, it is the female flowers are tricarpillary syncarpous, trilocular superior ovary. So when you happen to see the seed of the amla fruit, you can feel that three angles of the seed that implicates the triangular and the tricarpillary gynoecium. Okay, so the other features are concerned here. As we are already told about the fruit is the useful part, so we need to give a little bit more focus about the fruit. So the tender fruit is green in color. It is a globose and slightly compressed, and both the ends, something like, as we say, no, earth is having, it's a like a globe-like structure and having the polar regions are slightly flattened. So similarly, the amla fruit is also a globose structure, slightly flattened on both the upper and lower ends, and it is a globose structure side and slightly compressed. And being there is a hard seed inside, it is called a drupe. Single seeded fruit is called a drupe, like mango. So here also the same. Okay, so it is green and tender and change to yellow and brick red at maturity. So when it turns to brick red, they are not much durable, and they are going to be perished very soon. So it need to be yellow in color when they are in properly ripened state. Okay, so another characteristic feature is, as already I told you, there is a slightly compressed or a depression on both the ends, and there are it is a smooth and shiny surface it has, and there are 6 vertical furrows. That is one characteristic feature of amla fruit. 6 vertical furrows have been there, and so that is something like related to the tricarpillary ovary. Tricarpillary ovary surface. So every surface will be having two lines. So naturally, it will have 6 lines. So that is the 6 lines are very characteristic, and all of us know. So the fruit will separate with like 6 lobes when it is ripened, with that grooves as a mark, like. Okay, so the fruit is having a sour taste. The intensity of the sourness is so much that initially we feel it is bitter taste, and slowly we feel the sourness, and after that we feel the sweet taste as well. That is the typical feature of the amla fruit is concerned, particularly when we have, after having this fruit, the fresh fruit, if you take water, we feel sweetness. That is one peculiar feature of the amla fruit. It never happens with citrus fruits, right? When we have lemon juice, we never feel sweet after some time, after have if we have water also. But here, the sourness is, as we know, it is 20 times more vitamin C is present in amla than citrus fruits. So when it is excess amount of vitamin C, if it is just at the moderate level, we can feel just a sour taste. But because it is so high, we feel little bitter initially, but slowly we can feel the taste, and at the end we also can feel the sweetness, particularly with amla fruit. Okay, then the active principles are concerned here. As just now I mentioned, it is a good source of vitamin C, 20 times more than the citrus fruit. So vitamin C chemically is an ascorbic acid, right? So then it is also having a lot of phylembin, and lot of tannins are also will be present. Phylembic acid, phylembin. Then there is also ellagic acid. So this ellagic acid and so much amount of the tannins makes the fruit more important medicinally, not just only with the vitamin C, because vitamin C is very unstable. Whatever the process we generally follow to use this fruit, we'll fry it and to make the pickle, or we'll make dry for a longer time to make the dried form of the amla. So it is vitamin C is very heat labile. So when it is heated, it is going to be disorganized and not having its property as well. But still, whatever the form of the amla we use, either the fresh one or dried one, pickled one, powdered one, sweet or salted amla, because there is a big outlet of amla products also. So whatever the form, it is not with only vitamin C. Vitamin C will be very negligible in different kinds of products, whatever we make. But the amount of tannins it has, along with the allergic acid combination, it is still be valued as a good antioxidant, and also can boost the immunity and all. Okay, so that is the significance of amla fruit, not just only with vitamin A, as the different types of tannins and also the allergic acid makes it more worthy as an antioxidant or anti-aging, and also provides immunity and healing properties and all. Whatever we assume we are going to get out of this fruit. Okay, so the also present as the GITIN, and number of benzonoids includes amalic acid, phylumlic acid. All these are all actually makes important along with gibberellins. Okay, so have a good look into the chemical constants of amla or active principles. Then coming to the medicinal uses, so we can write as many as I told you. It is mainly the fruit, and even the leaves, flowers, and the bark. Seeds are also used medicinally, particularly in Ayurveda and Unani system of medicine. Each and every part of Amla plant has been used. Okay, so traditionally it is used for the better digestion as Triphala. It is also one of the ingredient in the Chavanprash, and also in the making of Triphala Churna. So Amla fruit is the main ingredient along with Terminalia chebula and Terminalia ballarica. That is Karakaya and Tanikaya. So all the three makes the Chavanprash, and also the Triphala Churna, which is a very common products sold in Ayurveda system of medicine. So it is considered to be good for constipation, as well as for to reduce fever, and it also purifies blood and reduce cough and alleviate asthma, being a good source of vitamin C. Then it strengthen heart and benefit the intellectual power. So it is already I told it is an ingredient in Chavanprash and all. So the Indian gooseberry has been preliminary research demonstrated like it is having antimicrobial properties, and also the extract also shows apoptosis and modify the gene expression. That means it is an anti-aging and antioxidant and anti-cancerous drug, like it is considered. And even it is used to treat arthritis, osteoporosis. Depletion of the calcium level in the bones is called osteoporosis. So for that also it has been used. And mainly it is also been suggested for the diabetic patients as well. So Philanthus Implica is adaptogenic properties. So adaptogenic property means anti-aging properties also has been seen. As I told you in the beginning, no, like it has lot of antioxidants, the free radicals which will be there, which are going to be formed in the metabolic process, are going to change the like the DNA. So that is in the form of, can be anti-cancerous also it can lead, and also the aging process because of more amount of free radicals which will be there in the body generated in the process of metabolism. So that free radicals will be actually checked by the properties with the antioxidant properties. So that balance, they are able to balance the more amount of free radicals are generated in the body That's how that aging process will be slowed down. Okay, so in the last, it is the Ayurveda formulations like Chavanprash, Dhatri Lehya, and Dhatri Arista are made out of this drug, and also it is used in the hair oils as well. Okay, and also in the shampoo as a good conditioner. So this is where I just actually cautioned you when you are asked about to write the medicinal properties Amla. You have to write the medicinal properties in the beginning. At the end you can add, just it is added in the making of hair oils and also shampoo, but that should not be the first option to write. I hope you got my point. Then the next plant is Philanthus Amar, and of course Implica officinalis or Amla plant is on large scale cultivation because of its known medicinal properties, and many preparations, Ayurveda preparations are there in the market as well on a large scale. Okay, so then we are moving to Philanthus Amarus. Earlier it was called Philanthus Nirurai. It is commonly called as Nela Usiri. Belongs to the same family, as we can easily identify with the generic name. It also belongs to the family Euphorbiaceae. It's a very common weed plant throughout India, particularly in the peninsular part. During the rainy season, a very common weed herbaceous plant. So mostly prostrate to the ground, like means horizontally growing to the ground, or sometimes even some of the branches can be erect also. So both the procumbent and decumbent branches are seen. A slight variation among the Philanthus Amaris varieties are. So as the Telugu name is indicating as Nela Usiri, here the fruits are produced towards the ground when the plants are growing horizontally. So not on the surface of the stem, the fruits are produced towards the ground. So downward the fruits are produced. So there are also small globose fruits of green color, and with the same six lines has been seen, slightly compressed and all. So here also the leaves are simple leaves, alternate simple leaves, and the fruits are produced from the axil of each leaf. So here we can clearly see how the inflorescence and how the flowers are. Okay, here also the same characters you can remember. Flowers are unisexual with the same features and all. So as the active principles are concerned, why it has been added here? Because we are studying about Philanthus, and Philanthus Amarus also a very known medicinal plant used in the treatment of jaundice in India as well as in other countries as well. That's why it is included. It is not under cultivation. It's just a weed plant. So the active principles, if you browse once, even though it is a very common weed plant, everywhere we can see, particularly in the monsoon time, there is lot of work has been done on this plant, and several active chemical constants has been identified, and even their formulas and their structures has been analyzed so much. So almost if you browse, nearly 2 to 3 pages of information you will get. That much of work has been done on this plant, because it is a proven plant for the treatment of jaundice and also different liver disorders. So that's why medically we call it as this plant considered as a hepatoprotective drug. Okay, so here the active principles are concerned. Here it is responsible for philanthrin, hypophilanthrin, trichontanol. Mainly the other phytochemicals are lignans, alkaloids and flavonoids. So almost very similar to that, but here there is no vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is missing, but the others are almost the same. Like there are different philanthrin and hypophilanthrin and trichontanol, and there are lignans and other alkaloids, flavonoids, quercetin. So many of the components. In fact, in the medicinal plants, one way it is easy to follow and remember the names of the at least certain active principles are because the names are given based on their genera or on the species name. So earlier also we have seen in the Raulca serpentina, Raulfin, serpentinin, serpentinone. Okay, so similar kind of names they have been given. So similarly here it is Niranthin, Nirectin, Nirurin, Niruroside. So because it is the earlier species name is Nirurai. Okay, so that's how it is a little easy to remember the names to some extent. So coming to the medicinal value, already I told you it is an important household remedy for asthma, bronchitis, cough, extreme thirst and anemia, tuberculosis. These are all in different areas. It has been used for different purposes, but mainly in our Telugu states, it is mainly used to treat jaundice. So most of the people will be going to herbal doctors to to get treatment for the jaundice. Even today also we know that many people go. They doesn't go to the allopathy doctor. They go to the herbal doctors or healers only. Okay, so the plant material, of course they give lot of restrictions, food rate restrictions and guidelines like that, but main drug they give is only Philanthus neururi, that is Nelavusri only. So but there are other uses as well, it has been mentioned. So it is mainly a hepatoprotective drug. So hepatoprotective means related to the liver, as the jaundice also is a kind of disease related to liver only. I hope all of you know that. Okay, so it is a hepatoprotective drug and also lipid lowering action. So when it is having a lipid lowering action, uh, it can reduce the cholesterol and also good for heart disease as well. Okay, so even it shows antifungal and antimicrobial activity. It is a very important medicinal plant in Ayurveda and Unani. So that is a purpose to include this plant in our syllabus. So it has also has the properties like anti-spasmodic. Spasms means muscle cramps. Sudden muscle cramps are called spasm. So it is anti-spasmodic drug and analgesic activities like as a painkiller, analgesic acid. Analgesic activities wise also it is much used. And recently it is seen that chromosomes inhibition is also been observed, means the chromosomal division. So whatever the substance is related to either inhibit the cell division or inhibit the activity of the chromosomes and all, that will be leading to the anti-cancerous drug development. Okay, so because we know the cancer is like the tumor is because of the uncontrolled and unwanted divisions. When it happens, the cancerous growth occurs, right? So anything related to inhibiting the cell division or inhibiting the chromosome separation and all going to be used in a way like anti-cancerous drugs. So that's one of the observation in the research they have found. Even they are able to act on the activity of the chromosomes as well, and even it shows inhibitory effect of human immunodeficiency virus, that is AIDS virus also can be controlled by this. These are all in the research phase, not actually the drugs have been prepared and released in the market, but research has been in progress and positive results are included in our syllabus. Okay, so this is also used as a galactagogue, means it is to enhance the milk in the lactating mothers, that is called galactagogue. And even urinogenital disorders, normal disorders and gonorrhea or hepatitis or gonorrhea is a venereal disease, sexually transmitted disease just like the AIDS. Okay, so and other gynec problems also can be treated. So here in the last of the page 48 you can see the information. Like, I hope you are following what I am suggesting, what to read and all. with your study material or book with you? Are you able to follow?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, please. Um, because it is just a monologue. No, I'm just keep on talking, and yeah, there's the a little inconvenience in the online sessions. Okay. I hope the students will follow the lesson after that, because it is there on YouTube. Okay, so it is also used. So interesting thing is, we told it is much used in the indigenous systems of medicine, and also in the folk medicine, and as a home remedy as well. But the interesting part is the same way it is being used in other parts of the world also, as you can see the information. So it is used for the treatment of jaundice and liver disorders in China, Philippines, Cuba, Nigeria, and East and West Africa, Caribbean islands, Latin America, etc. So this kind of interesting information to know, to understand also, not just to know, to understand how the human mind goes, and how the different medicinal plants used for the same purpose in different parts of the world. As we discussed in the beginning of our sessions, as the different medicinal systems, prehistoric and later also the traditional systems of medicine evolved parallelly on the same lines. So definitely this kind of information, the plants used for the same purpose in different parts of the world. So this is one example you can just take into consideration. Okay, so the principal drugs obtained from this plant are Chitraki, Hartika, and Madhyasti Tailam, and the popular Digritum. These are all Sanskrit words, and the drug preparations in Ayurveda. Okay, so sometimes as a short question, they can ask about Philanthus Amarus or nearby. Then the next very important plant is Gymnama Sylvester. So this is also traditionally used in Ayurveda and Siddha systems of medicine since long time, and as a lot of research also has been carried out on this plant, and proven as a drug to use for the treatment of diabetes, and also for the arthritis problem. So it is almost it is accepted as a drug even in allopathy medicine. So in the recent times we are going to get the inclusion and the medicine from this plant as well in Ayurveda, sorry, in allopathy medicine. Okay, so the Gymnama Sylvester plant we are talking about in the page 48. So the vernacular names of this Gymnama Sylvester are Goodmar, not G-U-R, G-U-D. Correct that spelling, G-U-D, Goodmar. Good means Hindi, it is um, Bellang, good, good. So it's a good mark. So in Sanskrit it is called Madhunashini or Madhulika, and also another form it is also called Mesha Shringi. It is somewhat like goat horns like. The fruits are a pair of follicles are produced here. A pair of fruits, in fact. So the pair of fruits are very pointed and short, and something like looks like a goat horns. That's why it is called Mesha Shringi in Sanskrit again. And it is in Telugu it is called Padapatri. In Telugu it is called Padapatri. That is not given in our book. So it belongs to the family Asclepiadaceae. That is our Calotropis family. So we know many plants of the Asclepiadaceae, the Calotropis family, and also Apocynaceae, that is Nerium family, having lot of medicinal plants. Okay, at least as we read about certain medicinal plants, we'll know some of the families of dicots are having more number of medicinal plants. Okay, so Asclepiadaceae, Apocynaceae, then Fabaceae, Solanaceae are the important families in the case of dicots. Liliaceae is the most important among the monocots. At least these families you can remember based on the plants what we study. Okay, so just an overview, not specifically. Okay, so the Gymnama Sylvester is concerned as it belongs to the family Asclepiadaceae. So here the useful parts are leaves. Again, the leaves are useful part. So the morphology is, it is a woody climbing plant, particularly growing in the tropical regions or the forest regions. It grow on the other trees very commonly. Then it is a very common plant, a climber found in the South Indian forest more often, and even near Deer Park of everywhere you can found in the near Shamirpet there is a deer park, no? So there we have seen lot of this Gymnama plants in that forest. Okay, so it is a large climber in fact. Of course, the root system is normal, but the stem is a climbing type of stem, but little woody. Of course, the leaves are, as you can see in the diagram, the leaves are opposite, simple leaves. So normally in Asclepiadaceae, we know, taking the example of Calotropis, opposite or opposite decussate leaves are seen, right? So here the leaves are simple and opposite leaves. Next is about the inflorescence is concerned. It is axillary corymbose umbel inflorescence, greenish yellow color flowers, small insignificant flowers they are. So as a gynoecium, if some of you have been in my practical session in our first year, so I told you about the family of Asclepiades and Apocynaceae. With regard to its gynoecium is concerned, the ovary is bicarpellary subapocarpus. Right? So the ovary, which is bicarpellary subapocarpus, it is going to develop two fruits from the same stalk, because as it is not completely fused, what I mean, the carpels are not completely fused, so each carpel is going to become a fruit later. So as you can see in the diagram, two fruits are produced from the axilla of every leaf. So as the fruits are very short and pointed, it is called Mesha Shringi. This is one thing I told in a practical session also, particularly with these two families, Apocynaceae and Asclepiadaceae. Even there is no leaves, no flower, nothing is seen. Just to a dried stalk, if you can see, just two fruits together. Okay, from the same stock, when there are two fruits are arising, that material must be either belong to Asclepiadaceae or Apocynaceae, because of that subapocarpus condition wise, two fruits together, not branching. I am talking about in any branch inflorescence, there can be either two or three or any number of fruits can be found. But here from one stalk, when there are two fruits are produced, that means from one flower, when the two fruits are produced, that is called as a pair of follicle. So that pair of follicles are the characteristic feature of the family Apocynaceae and Asclepiadaceae. So here that fruit's particular shape is very typical. That's why it is called Mesha Shringi. You can just recall the fruits of Calotropis. There will be two fruits like this on both the sides. They are two lobed fruit like they are seen, but not so pointed they are, right? So here they are pointed, and that is a characteristic feature. Okay, so coming to the other features, as of course the Asclepiadaceae wise, the important characters of the Asclepiadaceae flowers are, just to identify this plant belongs to that Asclepiadaceae family, we can see the flower. When we observe a pentagonal stigma in the center of the flower, that is 101% Asclepiadaceae member, because it is not just simply stigma, it is called gynostegium. At least some of you uh, must have remembered about this gynostegium word. We mentioned the family Asclepiadaceae, where the stigma is pentagonal, and in the pentagonal stigma, angles
Yes,
are
madam.
placed in the stamens, right? So the stamens are here in the form of translators. So as the translators or the modified stamens are placed in the angles of the stigma, it is called gynostegium. So that's what is mentioned a little bit here. Forget about the translator's characters and all, because here the translator is not having the retinaculum, only corpusculum and pollinia will be there. But at least with the gynostegium, you can definitely can recognize the plant material belongs to Asclepiadaceae. And next, as we told specifically about the shape of the fruits, yes, you can recognize Gymnama Sylvester leaves. The plant definitely you can recognize. Okay, so then coming to the active principles are concerned here, as I told you, the plant leaves are the useful part, and here it is having two types of resins. One is soluble in alcohol and other one is in two resins. One is soluble in alcohol and that is mainly here the active principle is gymnamic acid. This is what I told you, like it is easy to remember the names of the plant, the active principles, because if you remember the name of the plant, either it related to the genus or species. So here it is a gymnamic acid. The generic name is Gymnama. Okay, so the gymnamic acid is the main active principle here, along with other saponins and stigmasterol and quercetatol and other amino acids. Okay, so it is other important substances are also been given, and some of the plant extracts also test positive for alkaloids, but still the research work is progressive, not that identified what type of alkaloids are found. So at least if you have remembered gymnamic acid and saponins and stigmasterol and quercetatol, that is more than enough. Okay, so then coming to the medicinal value, here the Gymnama Sylvester has been used since long time in Ayurveda system of medicine to treat obesity and also to treat diabetes. So even different kinds of liver disease are also treated with this plant. So it is mainly the stomach ailments or constipation, water retention, and liver disease are also treated. And Gymnoma reduce the taste. So actually here, what is told, like it's a Madhunashini, as it has been indicated and much used in the treatment of diabetes since long time in Ayurveda system of medicine. Here one interesting observation of the taste is bitter. Actually, the leaves taste bitter and acrid, a little bit of unacceptable type of acrid taste they will have. So here the point is, when you chew the leaves of the Gymnema, will not able to taste, feel the sugar taste. Even if you put so much of amount of sugar in our mouth, you just feel it like a sand, because of the crystal thing. We can feel its texture, not its taste. So just we feel as if we have sand in our mouth, because the taste buds, as we know, on the tongue surface, different taste buds will be there: sweet taste buds, sour taste buds, and salt taste buds, like that, right? So the sweet taste buds becomes numb for some time. As the sweet taste buds become numb for some time, you will not be able to feel the sweet taste. So it lasts for a short period, depends on the sensitivity of the individual. So sometimes some people may not feel the sweet taste up to half an hour, some may feel within minutes also. So it depends on the, it's a person to person. So but basically here it is clearly observed, the temporarily the taste buds become numb, so the sweet taste may not be felt. And very importantly here, the absorption of the sugar will be slowed down because of the activity of the gymnamic acid. So here I'd like to add the same point again. We use many of the plant products for the treatment of the diabetes, right? So you must have heard the use of trigonella seeds, that is methi seeds, suggested by NIN also for the treatment of diabetes, which can reduce sugar levels. Similarly, many people use a lot of Momadica carentia juice, kakarakayalu, bitter gourd. Either juice or the bitter gourd use also more in diabetic patients. So that is a kind of feeling that people will have, whatever the bitter taste plants if you use, that will counter the sugar levels in the blood, which is not true. So some people also suggest, and also in Ayurveda system of medicine, neem leaves are also been suggested. Some people will have neem leaves also to reduce the diabetic condition. Definitely, it is not going to help to reduce sugar levels in the blood with neem leaves and other things. But one thing, like as I told you, trigonella, that is mentulu, and this Gymnama Sylvester or Momadica carentia, that is bitter gourd. All these herbal medicines are the different medicinal plants supposed to be used as for the diabetic condition, or for the uh, diabetes mellitus, as we call, for the sugar patient. Here it is not except insulin, nothing can reduce the blood sugar level, but the things whatever we use are suggested, they slow down the absorption of sugar, because once we have some kind of food, it is going to be converted as a glucose, and that will be absorbed in the blood, right? So when that absorption is slowed down, so naturally the sugar levels will not shoot up or increase immediately. So the slow absorption is the way they control the blood sugar, not reduce the blood sugar. I hope you got the difference between reducing or controlling. So here with the slow absorption of the sugar, it controls the blood sugar level. That's how they are very important medicinal plants to in the diabetes treatment. So the gymnamic acid appears to be very effective in the slower down the absorption of the sugar in the blood. So it is going to be released as a drug in allopathy medicine as well. And other uses you can just can go through, but in the last, as been suggested here, it is not safe to use in pregnancy. So some of the drugs has been suggested like that. One need to be very careful during the pregnancy. These kind of plants should not be used. So I always strongly believe and also suggest to the students, what are the medicinal importance wise we study, and we gain the knowledge, because nowadays, because of the concern, and also the people are more want to know about the medicinal plants and all. Many people are there to give the so much of information in the YouTube, or in the media, or in the TV channels. In every TV channel is having one program on medicinal plants. They can call it as home remedies or crude drugs or whatever. So any kind of names they are using, but caution is the as a person, one should not just indulge, like just can use any kind of plant material for any kind of health issue they have. One need to be very careful. If it is just a superficial application on the skin, okay, it might develop some rashes and all. We may feel some inconvenience for some time, but it is not going to be serious or fatal, or going to cause any side effects, right? But I never suggest to any person just you can have this leaf and that leaf, and because the people are so easily advising the people to have catranthus leaves just to cure diabetes. And also, yes, Lalita garu, do you have any doubt? Okay, yeah, just I have seen the hand there. Okay, so fine. Because it's not so safe because you must have heard one plant called insulin plant, no? Some of you must have seen in the exhibitions and all. It is called insulin plant. Costus religiosus is one plant called insulin plant. They are called, and the people are telling yes, anyone can have 2 or 3 leaves every day so that the sugar will be controlled. And similarly, catharanthus leaves and this Gymnama leaves or any kind of leaves, even Tinospora leaves were used much during the first phase of the COVID. Many people have taken the juice and powder so much, but always one need to be very careful whether it is just a topical use means application on the skin. Okay, not that risky, but taking as a inside is not always safe unless you know very well, because it's not a general thing like to suggest you can take 2 leaves, you can have these leaves and that leaves, because the alkaloid and steroidal substance having plants are not that easily one can use unless there is a, a proper guidance from the doctor how much we need to use, whether you are sensitive of that plant material or the drug, everything one need to know. So under the supervision only one can use, not simply collecting the some leaves and can have it for the treatment. That is not safe. So that's why, because in the Gymnama Sylvester, also the Padapatri, the people are just told like they can have few leaves. So few leaves means how much, and the people also, because not all the people are so much educated and can follow the instructions and all, right? So they may stop the regular medication and they think they are taking the leaves of this gymnema and that will taken care of, so that will be very risky. That's why I'm suggesting, so not on our own we can, no medication is really safe on our own way, but as we are taking crocin and other things whenever we have fever or body pains and all, we know what actually it is. But the plant drugs always one need to be very careful, not the kind of things I'm suggest talking about the tulsi leaves or moringa leaves like that, they're okay. They're not having that kind of potential substances in them. Okay, so the next one, the last two plants, as we know, they're all very known plants to us. One is curcuma longa, that is turmeric, all of us know. So the vernacular names of this plant are Pasupu or Haldi or Haridwara and Haridwara Kanda, and also it is called Indian saffron. Okay, so the it belongs to the family Gingiberaceae. Okay, so ginger, so it is indicating the ginger as well. Okay, Gingiberaceae family it belongs, and in the recent times it has been changed to Cytaminaceae, but better you remember as Gingiberaceae family. That is known family to you as well. So the coming to the okay, the useful part in the turmeric is, of course, it is a rhizome. uh, the dried rhizome is made into powder. So sometimes the fresh rhizomes are also being used. Considered they are more having medicinal value. In certain preparations, it is used in a fresh condition, but often we use turmeric as the dried rhizome powder. Okay, so it is the morphology of the plant is concerned here. It is a small undershrub. So there is a rhizomatic part of the plant which is very characteristic, as in the case of page 53 we have the pictures, so we can distinguish the difference between the curcuma and ginger very well. So in curcuma there will be a mother bulb which is very round, and in both the cases, in curcuma and ginger also, the main bulb is very round, it is called mother bulb, but that is more distinct in the case of curcuma, not so in the case of ginger. It is a flattened structure in the case of ginger, even major one, first one. And as slowly from the main rhizome the branching will be there, So the branching of both curcuma and ginger, they are called fingers. Okay, so as we know in curcuma, the first one is the bulb, round thing, as I told you, it is called mother bulb, and there will be secondary fingers, and then another tertiary. There will be in the market, yeah, in another few months, we are going to get the fresh produce of the turmeric, right? We generally prepare not the turmeric powder at home. So the round ones are the mother bulbs, followed by the fingers secondary, and then there will be very thin structures that they are like they are the tertiary parts of the rhizome. So they are not considered to be much good for quality of the turmeric powder. Mainly the fingers or the mother bulbs are considered to be the best source of the turmeric. Okay, so as the leaves are arising from the rhizome, as you can see in the picture 53, so the leaves are radical from the rhizome itself. Directly the leaves are arising, and as a case of the character, here the leaves are having a long petiole. So the long petioles are going to make the stem like part, as in the case of musa, that is the banana. All of us know banana stem is a very stout and very long tall structure it is it not? But it is not a true stem. There is no aerial stem as such in musa, that is in banana. It is an underground part, and the leaves are arising radically with a very long petiole. In musa, banana, the long petioles are overlapping on one another, and it forms a stem-like structure which we generally see. Okay, that is called pseudo stem. But in the case of curcuma, it is not so big and not so prominent, but the character is the same. There is no true stem, and the leaves are having long petiole, and they overlap, and just they appear like a stem-like form. And the inflorescence also arises radically. The inflorescence also arises radically from the base of the leaves, of course, and it is called a scape. And the flowers are yellowish green in color. In curcuma, the flowers are yellowish green in color. Yeah. Okay, so important character of the gingibrace is that, at least just to know, the flower being a monocot, the flowers are trimerous, and here the anther is only one anther is fertile. In the trimerous flowers of monocots, generally either 6 or 3 stamens will be there. Very rare to have numerous stamens in monocots, but the reduction of the stamens is much seen in the family Gingibraceae, where only one stamen is fertile. Okay, that is also seen in the case of curcuma as well. So here the leaves are also really aromatic. The turmeric smell is more strongly and felt in the leaves also. So the rhizomes are harvested, and they are boiled, then dried and made into powder. That's how the turmeric powder is made. The fresh tubers are being boiled by adding a little bit of lime, and then they are dried and sold in the market, or directly made as a powder. So the fresh turmeric tuber rhizome will not be having the bright yellow color. It is pale yellow color in fact. But once we add the lime, it gets that orangish yellow color, that bright color, which we will observe in the powder. Okay, so that is about the morphology of the plant is concerned. Then coming to the active principles, here the curcuma will be having the active principles are actually called as curcuminoids. Curcumin is the colored pigment that is responsible for that yellow color, that is the curcumin, and the active principle is called curcuminolides. So it is a kind of oleoresin. Chemically it is called as a oleoresin, curcuminoids, and curcumin is a pigment. So this curcumin is actually isolated and used as a medicine even in allopathy, and of course in traditional medicine it is one of the important medicinal plant. Plus also we use it as a condiment or flavoring agent. So coming to the medicinal value, as just I told, it is used in Ayurveda medicine, and the turmeric is actually in the South Asia. It is an important antiseptic substance. Like it is much used, antibacterial or antiseptic or antimicrobial, you can call, and also it is anti-inflammatory, and it is used to treat cuts or burns and bruises or wounds, whatever. So in general also at home, if anybody is having a cut, immediately we rush to put the turmeric, because it can stop the bleeding, and also it is an antiseptic and also antimicrobial. So that properties all of us know, and it is also a dietary supplement, and by using that several digestive problems also can be cured. So here on the turmeric there are lot of research has been made, and also there are all different things related to turmeric. Are the US companies have taken patent for the turmeric. So the Indian government fought with the USA patent authorities that it has been in use as a medicinal plant in the traditional medicinal systems, and as they are able to show the proof how old the use of the turmeric in Indian context, and that's how we won the case, and it is the patent has been given to the Indian companies or India, not to USA, because the use of turmeric is so old in the Indian traditional systems. Also in the literature it has been written. So written proof is always important to claim the patent rights. So that's how we are able to take the advantage of the turmeric. Otherwise, American companies had already been with curcumin as their patent product, and so it is anti-cancerous and also anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. There are several properties has been identified with the turmeric. In fact, it is just not only told as anti-cancerous. The chemotherapy side effects can be minimized by taking turmeric regularly, because that's where the problem is. Like the chemotherapy is going to make a lot of problem to the patient, that side effects are going to be much more worse than the problem. So those chemotherapy side effects can be minimized by using turmeric regularly, and even a regular use of a pinch of a small few grams of turmeric powder, provided it is homemade and pure. Because in the next chapters we are going to know about the adulteration happens in turmeric. Turmeric is one of the product which is 99% or 100% adulterated in the open market, particularly when you buy small packets of turmeric. Because so better not to buy turmeric. Even if you buy the turmeric, it is with the known brands, but always safe to be made at home, because that is one of the highest adulterated product in the market. So yeah, it is used in different preparations also, as antiseptic, and also anti-inflammatory and all. So it is also used in making cosmetics as well, and the fresh rhizome paste is also used to remove unwanted hair on the body. So these are the things actually they added. I mean, that's what I told you. No, in the exam, the some of the students will write these are the things. So it is applied to the skin to get glow, and also to remove the unwanted hair, and also those are secondary. The thing is, it is antibiotic and antiseptic and disinfectant, and it can cure diabetes, and also can use for the each and every problem it is able to. So a small amount of the turmeric use is also been suggested, and it is clearly shown as a proof, like uh, as a South Asian people use turmeric, and in particular in South India we use turmeric regularly. Even in a small quantity we use more amount of turmeric regularly in our culinary. So that is one of the thing, as the colon cancer is not very prevalent in the South Indians because of the use of turmeric, as the IMA has been suggested. Okay, so that shows as it being an anti-cancerous drug, like it can act. Okay, particularly the colon cancer is very less in the South Indian population, as it the medical findings are indicating. So it has a lot of medicinal properties. And then the last one is the ginger. So here the ginger is also one of the important. The plant belongs to the same family, Gingiberaceae. So adrak or allam, yeah, you can give the vernacular names here. So here also the useful part is the rhizome. So fresh rhizome or the dried rhizome is also been used. Okay, so here the fresh rhizome is often used. The boiled and with the lime coated one in the form of sont. The dried ginger is also in use, both the ways. So here the um, morphology of the plant is concerned, it is also similar to that of curcuma, but only thing is here the rhizome is more horizontally growing and develops more branches as well as fingers, as I told, but the fingers are laterally compressed with a very distinct indication of the scaly leaves and the nodes. The scale, like as you can see in the picture, and no need of seeing the picture also, as everyone knows, if it is thoroughly cleaned, the surface of the ginger can clearly indicate the lines, the markings are clearly seen, right? So those are actually the nodes being its a stem, and also the scaly leaves, like as we scrap a small line like thing can be seen, they are called the scaly leaves. So here that is a very clear indication, and the tips of the branches will be having the axillary bud where from it can grow again, right? So that is about the rhizomatic part is concerned, but here there is an aerial stem like structure is clearly seen, not like the case of curcuma. Here there is an aerial stem on which the leaves are arranged alternately with the sheathing leaf base. Here a normal stem like grasses are seen, and the leaves are linear with a very long petiole with a sheathing leaf base. But the inflorescence again is radical, and it is also with a spade like structure it will be seen, with the enclosed flowers. So there, the flowers here also are yellowish color or orangish yellow color flowers as it develop, with the same features of trimerous flowers and with only one antherlobe petile and tricarpularis incarpus ovary. So that is basic morphology is concerned. Then coming to the active principles are concerned, here it consists of 50% starch and 9% of protein. So that details you can just go through once. So here it is, the main active principle is gingerberol and gingerberine. Okay, gingerberine and gingerberol are the active principles, along with the citral, citronellol, limonene, and these are all a, a kind of aromatic substances they are. So curcuma has its own distinct smell, because I told it is a oleoracin. The curcuminoid is a oleoracin. So resins will have a distinct smell, but a little pungent smell it will have, right? The turmeric, but whereas the ginger will have a pungent and also strong aroma. It will have very characteristic. One can easily can detect whether it is a curcuma or ginger because of its distinct smell. So here the oleoresin is a colorless or a pale yellow colored substance, whereas in the case of oleoresin of curcuma, it is yellowish in color, whereas in ginger it is pale yellow or fluorescent green in color, and there will be more amount of fibers and also more amount of starch. In the case of ginger is much observed. So as a little detailed account has been given, the fragrance of ginger is due to its essential oil, and the pungence is due to the non-volatile phenyl propanol derived compounds, particularly the geraniol. Okay, so that is very, very specific. As I told you, the geraniol and cyniol, eugeneol, these are all present in most of the aromatic plants of APAC, like umbelliferae family. Like most of the plants will have all these components. Okay, so coming to the medicinal value, we know very well that the ginger is a very carminative. Okay, so it is used to improve the digestion, and also it is used in the treatment of urinary disorders, and also um, like even skin infections also can be treated with the ginger. So actually Jamaican ginger is the best quality ginger generally suggested, Jamaica being the prime center of origin. In India, it is the Cochin ginger is cultivated, considered to be the best variety of ginger. But in fact, China is the leading producer of the ginger now. So they sold the ginger in the form of scraped ginger. So the surface layers have been scraped, or even it is made as slices and stored along with the sugar syrup. So that is more exported from China. That is China ginger are the best quality of the ginger. So it is considered to be, the ginger is considered to be the gift from God, and was commonly used to cleanse and warming the body. Historically, ginger is used for digestion. So ancient Greeks and eat ginger wrapped in bread as an after dinner digestive, and this led to the creation of gingerbread. Okay, some historical things you can just pick up. So it is also used for the treatment of nausea, particularly like with the indigestion, or the women having morning sickness during their pregnancy. To avoid the nausea or vomiting sensation, the ginger has been used. And even for the chemotherapy, the people after going through the chemotherapy treatment, I told turmeric reduces the side effects of chemotherapy, but the people will lose the taste, and also they are not able to have the food and all. So for that purpose, also for the chemotherapy, post chemotherapy effects wise, it is used. And it is also considered to be a stimulant, makes it useful for treating heart disease, being it's a kind of, it creates warmness, right? So it create warmness in the body. That's why it is also used. Yeah, the recent times most of the people have used so much of ginger in the tea and all as a decoction for the improvement of the immunity, and also to for the treatment of the cold and all. At the same time, it also can be a stimulant to the heart. So these are the medicinal properties. So much are been mentioned here. So at least some of them we can pick up. So as I told you, any medicinal plant can be given just medicinal uses of Implica or Gymnama, or active principles of turmeric, like that they can be asked, or discuss about the morphology and the medicinal properties of so and so plant can be an essay question. So be thorough with all the medicinal plants. So we cannot say which is important, because in the beginning itself I told the entire medicinal botany you need to be thorough. That is one advantage you have. If you are thorough with the medicinal botany itself, that will be sufficient for your examination preparation, because 50% of the questions are going to come from these two blocks itself. Even though embryology has 3 blocks, 50% of the questions are given from this medicinal botany itself. and it is not very lengthy information also. Just as the lines I have suggested, if you are able to write the points, how I told, like the botanical name, family, which part is useful, and brief amount information about the morphology, active principles and uses. So stepwise, within 5 to 10 minutes you can write, even if it is an essay question. So be thorough with all the plants which we had discussed in the third unit and fourth unit. You may get the medicinal uses of any plant, or the morphology and medicinal uses of any plant. So more often asked are, just a suggestion, more often asked questions are about curcuma, amla, okay, Gymnama Sylvester, and Withania and Rauwolfia. So out of, I think, 8 plants, 4 plus 4, I think, no, 4 plus 5 plus, here in the fourth unit we have 5 plants, and in the fourth unit we have 4 plants, right? Yeah. So out of 9 plants, I am giving the names of 5. Curcuma, I am repeating, curcuma, amla are usually asked questions as an essay question, and the medicinal properties of Gymnama, Withania, Rauwolfia are also asked. So be thorough. My suggestion is be thorough with all the medicinal plants to be on safe side, and also easy to study. Not much content is also there. Is it okay?
Yes, madam.
Okay, ma'am.
So one thing, whoever can attend the class right now, and whoever is going to see the lesson afterwards also, if you have any doubts, you can just post the question, or in WhatsApp. I will clarify, or else you can raise a question in the next session. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, if you have any doubts, definitely
Okay, madam.
you're most welcome. You can ask just post the message in WhatsApp. I'll clarify.
Okay, madam.
Okay, then we are ending the session now. It's already 1:30.
Thank you, madam.
Okay?
Thank you. Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.